Well, today I've, as is kind of usual these days, just given myself a little while, 10 minutes before the alarm goes off, in order to do something additional on this painting that I started last night. I had to play around with the composition after the video, and I felt a bit annoyed by the full thing. I felt like I wanted to narrow it down a bit. So where the masking tape is on each side is where I'm visualizing the painting occupying. I don't know afterwards if I need to cross that bridge when I come to it, if I need to saw the sides of it off or something. But I've decided to move into using oil. And I had some ideas around what I would do, but the way an idea is just like a way in for me, but I think I will follow this one, at least for now. And the idea was just to begin using oil to distinguish the background colour from the blues on this side of the vase, on this side of the pot. So what colours could I use for that? Just looking at the tone that I'm seeing there. I think it will certainly have ultramarine blue in it. And I'm talking not about the pattern, but about the so-called white that's behind the pattern. And I think I want to mix orange with that blue to give me a colour. And I'm sorry I'm not able to show you the colours that I'm mixing down here, because I've just stuck a temporary palette onto the chair. So I'm mixing it's Winsor orange with the ultramarine blue to get myself a grey. You know, if you mix the opposites on the colour wheel, you get a grey colour. So red and green will make a kind of a grey, orange and blue will make a kind of a grey, and then purple and yellow will make another kind of grey. And what I've got is something that's quite satisfying to me here. I'm just going to put some white in it to see the colour, and I'll share it with you then. Sorry, no, it's a bit dissatisfying, isn't it, when you can't see it? And of course, when you put the paint onto the particular painting, you might find that actually it gets more or less of something. I'm wondering whether this colour grey could do with some yellow ochre or a yellowish hint into it, because it's reading as kind of slightly violet grey. But I'm going to try it on the painting first in order to see whether actually I do need to adjust it. It might be fine once I put it on. No, I definitely want to put some yellow ochre into this, because this is the colour, you know, it looks kind of lilac almost. And the yellow ochre will cancel out that. A little anyway, it should. Yeah, so I'm putting a little bit more blue in as well, a little bit more yellow ochre, looking at the colour I'm aiming for as I'm making it. I'm aware too that I don't want it to read as being too bright over on this side, because this is the side that's more in shadow, especially on a day like today, which is really quite freak, as we'd say in Scotland, or a soft day. And so the light isn't so bright coming in the window today. I just made some more adjustments to the colour as I saw it on there. And I've put in some more, like I need to half close my eyes to truly see the shades I'm looking at, otherwise I just see it as being white. When I half close my eyes and compare it, say, to the white in the flowers, this area of the white of the pot isn't white at all, really. It's definitely a muted greyish colour. And I've added various things into it to try and capture exactly the colour I'm seeing. I'm not sure I've got it yet, but kind of liking the investigation and enjoying trying to find it, and also noticing again where the patterns are in this lovely pot. And whether or not there needs to be an adjustment of tone each time. I don't know if it's maybe just that I need to inject some more brown into it, but I feel like it's going to end up with a lot of brown if I, the brown and blue seems to be a default setting for me. Keen to try something else to make my grey today. And I think I'm getting there with it. I think the yellow ochre addition is satisfying to me in making the colour that I'm seeing happen on my canvas, on my board. This is a board. It's unusual for me to use a board, and for the reason that it's as though it's kind of coming to pass. The reason I don't use boards often is because I want to be able to shift the size, the shape of the painting if I want to halfway through. Not that I often do that. It seems to be only when I'm working on a board that I feel the need to change it, when it's difficult to change. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I didn't also like, I just picked up the board without really having a plan that I wanted particularly rectangular composition. I think I prefer longer, thinner compositions, or something that's slightly quirky in the compositions usually appeal to me, rather than a standard rectangle. I'm getting a bit brighter as we go across the painting, so I'm putting more white in and a touch more blue as well. I suppose as I've made the white of the pot quite dark on this side, the pattern, the blue pattern, will also be deepened in tone, I think, darkened a little. And over there, it's kind of a bluish shadow that's on the white, cast by the leaves that aren't quite lifted above the pot, so they're casting a shadow onto the pot in places there. And even the top of the pot seems to have a kind of a yellow ochreish off-white colour just here. I notice that in relationship, it's all things are kind of noticed in relationship, I suppose, in relationship to the white below it. Feels like it's not quite as white. And then really the top of it here is quite dark still. And the white coming down from that top is still quite dark too. And then it lightens up a little as we go down further. It's still, I'm noticing that it's not at all as bright as the white in the flowers, so I feel comfortable enough still keeping it to being cream and nondescript kind of a colour, I suppose. You can always lighten it as we go on. I will do even now, actually, as we come across. You might leave some parts with the white of the board, or you may feel it's necessary to use the paint that I'm mixing here, making it lighter as I go across. Quite a nice thing, I think, to have the combination of the white thin background colour and also some laid on the exact same colour possibly, but thickly applied. There's something kind of pleasing about that, I think. And in addition to that, here I've changed the medium, so the background is the surface of the painting, and then the what I'm using now is oil paint. Whereas most of it is painted in acrylic so far, yesterday's efforts. Okay, I have got a desire as well to try and do less in general. So I'm exploring that a little bit with this painting. It may be that in doing less, I need to put on more and then extract it. I was reading that in the Rick Rubin book, The Creative Act, about sometimes you need to take off you know, to put something on and then take it off. So it's not as though the painting is really economical from the word go and has very little in it. It's more that it's been reduced again after it's been put on, it's been taken off. I mean, so it's not like, you know, you can simplify, you can start by simplifying. Sometimes things happen that way and it's good, but more often I find that I have to try something and then take it away and then try something else, you know, that kind of process, the painting process, really. So from before I started, I had the idea that I might paint some of the white background of that and then make my way up here, maybe by painting 1 or 2 leaves. And then I thought I might jump across and explain the brightest ones as they're sitting in front of that lovely light. Maybe just do some of the dark that's located in between the leaves. There's my alarm now. And as usual, I'm going to give myself another little while. I had erred on the side of caution. I've got another couple of minutes. Hopefully these flowers will stay alive for the duration of the painting at least. Sometimes I don't have much luck with cyclamen, and sometimes I'm very lucky with them. And I love them. There's a little bud here. I'm kind of tempted to just put it in. Right. And then as we climb up, there's a couple of leaves extending out into that dark colour. And then there's a flash of white. Put a bit of medium on there to let it flow more freely. And there's a flash of white. What was I saying now? There's a couple of leaves, yeah. And then there's a little flash of white there. Ish. And then there's the bottom of the first really bright one. I'm not sure if I've come up high enough. I think I have actually, yeah. The bottom of the first really bright one. And then there's a triangle of space between that and the next really bright one. So the two that are like satellites sitting to the right of the group are the brightest two here. And then I'm painting the background up to meet them in the first instance. I'm trying to carve out the precise shape that they are in the space by the background, by finding the background colour that comes up to meet them. And the background colour I just made again with raw umber, dark brown, and ultramarine blue. I say dark brown, I find any dark brown works to make a dark colour. Mixed with ultramarine blue. It's a bit of a general sweeping statement, but that's in my experience. And I would encourage you to go with your own experience too, obviously. What was I doing there now? I don't know if I brought that down a bit too far. Yeah, I think that's more appropriate, more accurate. And then here there's a triangle. Needs another one. I'll just use a clean brush to wipe away the shape to the left of that. Lost my rags. Okay. Okay, so I think it's about there. And the next one ends about there. Very chiseled edge to these cyclamen flowers, which I really love. And less so of the leaves, but they're still quite a distinct heart shape, the leaves. And they've got interesting extensions when they extend out. Might as well just indicate when I touch up the green that's there as I see it. Okay, I'm gonna stop now because it is time for me to go. I might return to it later today, and I might not. I mean, I've done my few minutes of painting, qualifies me for the day. I don't know if you can really see very clearly what happened there. Just finding, negotiating the edges and trying to paint in the white, which isn't really white, to the left of the pot. Okay. Right, it goes on. And thanks for joining me. All the best. See ya.